Wonders of the First is on its way. We have dates and we have details. Welcome once again, my fellow manipulators of digital fate. I'm Richie, this is Capricorn, and today we have another video for Wonders of the First, and this one's a doozy. We're recapping the recent town hall meeting that was held for Kickstarter backers, where tons of new information about the game was discussed. We got release dates, a general release plan, and an idea of exactly when those Kickstarter fulfillments are going to be shipped out to all of the backers. We have a lot to go over, so we're going to dive right in. Before we do, make sure you like the video if you haven't already, and subscribe if you're new. If you're looking for Magic the Gathering content, Wonders of the First content, or really content about collectible card games in general, you are in the right place, so be sure to subscribe. Now let's dive in. Really quick before we dive into the meat and potatoes of everything that was discussed, for those of you who don't know what Wonders of the First is, it is a brand new collectible card game in the vein of Magic the Gathering, Pokemon, or Yu-Gi-Oh!, coming to us from the mind of Brian Tinsman, who is a former Magic lead designer. In fact, he did my favorite set, Time Spiral, and if you want my opinion on the game, I do have a review up for the game on my channel, as well as a couple of deck techs, so if you're interested in seeing my honest, transparent opinion on the game, as well as seeing the game in motion, seeing it in action, definitely check out those videos. I'm going to link them in the description to this video, as well as in a pinned comment, so check all of that out. And with all of that out of the way, let's dive right in here. So we start off with a bunch of bullet points with things that they're going to discuss later on in the meeting, and right off the bat they say this team has cooked. They think it's the best CCG ever. Yes, I'm dead serious, in parentheses. Now, I'm not going to go as far as to say I think it's the best CCG ever, but what I will say is it definitely has the potential to be. I'm definitely tempted to say that's the case. I do think we need more time with the game, really get a chance to see how long the legs are, how deep it goes, how nuanced it gets over time, and the different types of strategies and synergies that evolve for this game over the long term before we really start talking in any serious matter, in any serious way about if it's the best CCG ever. But I do think it has the potential. I'm not going to say it's not the best CCG ever, because the potential's definitely there, and they seem super confident that it is. They also mentioned disruptive innovations and how they're already seeing fast copy. And what they mean by that is they came into making this game with a whole bunch of design principles in mind to circumvent a lot of the problems that other card games are going through right now. They have so much experience with previous card games that they really kind of know what problems might be coming down the road, and they can get out in front of it and stop those things ahead of time, make sure those things don't happen with their game. And one of the examples I can use is what's going on right now with the Commander format in Magic the Gathering. If you know, you know. I'm not going to go into super detail on that here, but I do have another video coming with all of the details concerning that, and all of the ways in which this game is very forward-thinking and dodging a lot of the problems that the Commander format is going through right now, right out of the gate, with some of its design principles. So again, not going to get too in the weeds with that right now, but there is another video coming where we're going to get really in-depth with that, so look forward to that. They also mention here that birth of a new CCG paradigm, or CCG paradigms, such as AI and a scarcity model. Now, I don't want to go too crazy into this, but they are using AI art, and I think it's cool and popular right now to hate on AI art and to see it as purely evil. But I look at AI as sort of a tool or a weapon, and just like a gun, AI can be used for good or it can be used for evil, and it's not the AI itself that's good or evil, it's the person that wields it, just like a weapon. So I think it's easy to try and just hate on AI right out of the gate and think it's just purely evil, and to not see the potential good sides of AI, just because that's sort of the popular narrative making the rounds online these days. But I do think there are ways in which AI can be used for good, and I do think it's a spectrum, and I think, like most things in life, Really, it's a gray area. It's not as easy as saying something's purely bad or purely evil, but it lives in a gray area, and you need context before you can decide if this certain thing is a good use of AI or an evil use of AI. And as far as this game is concerned, this is a brand new game coming from a company that's very new at doing this sort of thing. And to be honest, if they had to pay artists for every single card, they probably wouldn't even afford to be able to make this game exist to begin with. So the way I see it is AI art is a way to actually cut costs enough to actually let a brand new cool game like this exist when otherwise it wouldn't be able to exist at all. So like I said, I think there are ways in which AI can be used for good. I think it's lame that it's popular to hate on AI, but I do admit that there can be ways it's used for evil, and you do have to be careful. You have to be careful in judging the context of it, in my opinion. They also mention scarcity model here, and what they mean by that is they have a no reprint policy. So they will never reprint a card in a future set. They have a reprint window of, I believe it's 2 years, where if the set is being reprinted with additional print runs, obviously, you know, the card can be reprinted. But once they stop printing that set and move on, you're never at risk of that card being reprinted in later sets. And if something of yours is worth a lot of money, and then, you know, it could get reprinted down the line and lose all of its value, that's something that this game you don't have to worry about. And I do think this reprint policy is sort of a double-edged sword. I don't think it's perfect. I think there are pros and cons to each side of it. Whether you don't reprint or do reprint, there are good and bad in both. But I do feel like a reprint sort of a policy like that is probably the lesser of two evils, being sure that if you spend money on something that's valuable, it's not just all of a sudden one day going to get a whole bunch of copies reprinted and lose all of its value. So just sort of protecting collectors' investments, I think, is smart, and the door is still open to print games that functionally, or print cards rather, that functionally perform similar functions to sort of fill that hole in, you know, in the player base or in the card pool, if something like that is needed without actually having to reprint the actual cards. So I do think it's noble that they're trying to approach this. I don't know for sure which is going to be best, a no reprint policy or not, but I do think that they're approaching it for noble reasons, and right now I tend to think that it's the lesser of two evils. They also talk a little bit here about distribution and how they have a 500 store goal to make sure the product is readily available to people that want to buy it, and they also talk about grading, and they have relationships now with 5 big graders, card graders in the industry. So you can be assured that the collectability and worth of these cards is actually being taken very, very seriously. And they have great relationships, not only with a bunch of these graders, but also like 2 of the biggest in the industry, which is PSA and TAG, are both very deep in on this game. And that is really good to hear for people who are collectors and want to make sure that their collections remain valuable and keep their worth. Also, they talk a little bit here about technology partnerships, but there's more on that later. We'll get to that down the line. And then also they have an ambassador network of 2,000 plus people covering 700 local game shops and 150 plus conventions nationwide focused on the US. This means that they're actually going to be able to spread the word and get this game out to so many more people than they originally thought. And this is a huge, huge deal for this game. But we're going to move on here to the biggest question: when will the product ship? And we actually have a timeline. So we are going to have a event. We're going to see a big event where they launch this thing called the First Shattering Existence. Existence being the name of the first set. Now this is a chance to rip, trade, collect, and play. It's happening in Columbia, South Carolina, March 21st through 23rd. So that's basically the official release date of this product. I do think that some of it's going out to Kickstarter backers just a little bit sooner than this, but it's really cool seeing that they have this crazy big event they're going to use to just launch this game properly. But moving on, we have a release schedule update. Now, originally they were hoping to release this game by the end of the year. They got in the weeds a bit with grading cards and with making sure that the print quality was up to their expectations and all of that sort of thing. So we did see that release window get pushed back, but the good news here is we have an actual confirmed 100% release date now. It's not just a window. This is when the game is coming. So first of all, December 10th, those of you who are Kickstarter backers who pre-ordered product, you're going to get something called the first gift, and this is sort of a thank you for your patience, an extra something that they're going to be sending your way, and we'll get into details on that really quickly. March 15th through 21st is the Kickstarter fulfillment and shipping. So you're going to get all of that stuff shipped out to you if you backed it on the Kickstarter between March 15th and March 21st, and that's just in time for that March 21st launch party that we were just talking about, and that's going to be a really exciting time. So I'll probably go down to Columbia, South Carolina for that and be a part of it, because honestly guys, I'm pretty excited about this game. But moving on, what is the first gift exactly? This is the first gift. They have 24 proofs of every single card in the set. That's over 400 cards. That is a metric ton of proofs. All of them are going to be graded. These are basically like the test prints to make sure everything is up to snuff, the final test prints. These are all going to be graded and given away to the backers as gifts, which is insane, and they have the additional print of pre-release on them that makes them look even more special. So if you're a backer, you can expect to receive some of these. Now, the details concerning that, print run and gift tiers, there are 24 full sets of the 407 card existence set. 407 card is the entire existence set, not including tokens and promos, and that equals 9,768 total pre-slabs that are going out to get graded and being sent off to these backers. Now, if you backed it and your purchase total was between $150 and $749, you'll get one of these pre-slabs, and then from there it starts to scale. So the more money that you backed, the more of the initial product that you are getting at launch, the more of these pre-slabs you'll receive as a thank you gift, which kind of makes sense because some people really stood behind this product with a significant amount of money, investing to make sure this thing could exist in the first place, and those people deserve a little something extra, right? So the top end here being if you backed it $8,000 or more, you're going to get an entire 10 pre-slabs, which is pretty crazy. Bonus, 10 reward miles per pre-order dollar. For context, existent serialized boxes were 5,811 miles each. Now, timeline and other info. On Thursday, December 2nd, if you're a backer, you need to get your Blocks Pack ID set up. You need one tied to your Kickstarter email and all Kickstarter emails if you have multiples. And then on December 2nd through 5th, you get to claim your pre-slabs using your Blocks Pack ID. They are requiring a proactive redemption so that cards don't go into the abyss. What they mean by that is they don't want to start sending cards out to people and have them go to, out-of-date addresses that are no longer your actual address, or go to people that don't know it's coming and they end up missing the shipment and that sort of thing. They don't want any of these pre-slabs to be wasted at all, so you do have to sign up and claim them specifically between December 2nd and 5th to make sure you get them, and that makes sure that every single pre-slab is gonna wind up in the hands of somebody that actually wants it. And then as long as you do this before December 25th, that's going to be the pre-slab rip day. So physical shipments will begin mid-February. You'll start to get those slabs, and then standard redemption process under $10, less with volume, free for HOF members. Let's move on. I want more. How and when? So there are going to be 0 holdbacks, which means all of these cards are going to get pack pulled with randomized provenance. What that means is every single one of these special cards is going to be included in the initial print run, in the initial product. So there's not going to be anything waiting to be discovered. It's all going to be put out there for you guys. And the remaining supply of any Kickstarter kits that weren't purchased will be available for a buy and rip. So you can just grab them, get them emailed to you, or get them mailed to you rather, and open them up. So you're going to have options to claim some of the unclaimed Kickstarter stuff. The pricing is still TBD on that, but expect surprise and delight. And I think what they mean by that is that each of the packs is going to sort of be an experience unto itself when you're ripping them open. There are always going to be surprises like alternate arts and crazy foil treatments and stuff like that to find, and expect a lot of that with this initial shipment. But moving on, they've added a second free gift, one free orbital guide per order. Now, the one thing I want to point out here is there are 6 different orbital guides, one for each orbital. And for those of you who don't know, an orbital is basically the same as a color in Magic the Gathering. It's a selection of cards that all have similar themes and have some sort of a play restriction that adheres to all cards of one orbital. In this case, you need to have like an orbital link for some of the core cards. If you don't know what I'm talking about, if all of that sounds like a foreign language to you, again, check out my review video that's posted down in the comments. Check that out and you'll understand. But each of these guides is going to be sent out to you as a second gift, and it covers orbital-specific lore and card abilities, showcases every card from a specific orbital in the set, has a collector's checklist, and you can look for a link to claim yours in January, which looks pretty cool. But next up, Wonders of the First, a market fit necessary product branding update. Now, what that means is it sounds super crazy and official, but what it really boils down to is they're changing the terminology on what the booster packs are called. So what used to be called a collect and play booster pack is now just called a collector booster. And that's just easily understandable terminology. I think makes it more understandable. So there are these collector's boosters, and the collector boosters are going to be the things that have all of those numbered prints in them, right? That initial shipment that has 1 of 1s and 10 of 10s and stuff like that, serialized number prints. Those are all going to appear in this first shipment of collector's boosters. And then you also have play boosters they are introducing, and the play boosters will contain all of the normal cards in the set as well as normal foils for the set, and that's going to be your primary way of getting your hand on cards for the purposes of just playing the game, right? To just get the cards you want, to put together the decks that you want, to play the game that you want. This is going to kind of be the backbone of that. But next up, they show all of the products together, a foundation to build tradition. So as you can see, they have the play boosters there on the left, they've got the collector's boosters there on the right, and in the middle, they have what they're calling the first box, which gives you some packs and just sort of like a starter set for the game, which is really nice. And of course, underneath that, you can see a play mat and some of the stones that you can get for that are used for play purposes. If you guys don't know, this game revolves around trying to win different realms and claim the stone in that realm when you defeat the person in combat in that realm. And so how you win the game kind of revolves around collecting these stones and getting more of them than your opponent. So there are physical stones as well, which I find really cool. So the retail strategy, the focus is on franchise introduction with a 500 store goal. And it's anchored by our new 2-player starter kits available to all local game stores, a more accessible on-ramp with heavily allocated access to booster average. So it's nice that they're hitting the ground running here, and they do have these 2-player starter kits, these kits that are aimed specifically at getting people playing as quick as possible and showing them what makes the game special right out of the gate in just one package, and I'm excited to see that. They've seen great success with their distribution partners on their Bo Jackson Battle Arena franchise, and they expect to see the same here. I expect it to actually be more popular and more successful than the Bo Jackson game. I really think this game is something special, but I could go on and on about that. So Anyway, we may do a very small D2C sale just prior to release to clear remaining Kickstarters that haven't been paid for or that weren't claimed. So the goal is to get the first edition out there so that the trusted markets can form, and play boosters can come in waves during the print window. So as they see the need for more stuff to be printed, they're going to start printing more and getting it out there to all of those stores that they have relationships with, which is really exciting. But let's dive deeper into the actual cards. And this is the point of the town hall meeting where they handed it over to Chris Kish, who is the creative lead under Brian. Treatment framework. So first of all, we have first edition treatments, which will be out of print. This will be basically only available in all of the Kickstarter packages. If you are a Kickstarter backer, all of these different numbered prints are in those collector boosters in that first print run. So you don't have to think that like they're going to milk this and spread it out over multiple printings or whatever. Like, if you're one of the first to jump at this game and really support the game right out of the gate, you're going to be one of the ones that has the potential to rip open these crazy numbered prints, and that's really exciting. But there's also classic treatments, so you have the normal cards and normal foils and that sort of thing, and those will be available in multiple reprintings of the set as demand increases and they start to put more product out there. We've also got stone foils, which again will be out of print. These will be available in just those collector's boosters that are going out to Kickstarter backers right off the bat. And these are one of ones. These are like the premier cream of the crop, tip of the spear, like the best of the best. These things are insane, and I'm expecting them to actually be worth a fair amount of money, especially with the recent relationships formed with the different grading companies. This is just really exciting. So these are one of ones. There are 437 available in serialized advantage and collector boosters, 6 available in orbital pre-con decks, and 7 available in Kickstarter early backer boxes. There's also orbital color matches, which are another type of sort of alternate art, alternate styling for these cards that makes them even more rare. These are numbered as well, but there are more of these available than the stone foils. The stone foils are one of ones, and these are going to be like one of 10s or one of 25s. It changes based on rarity. So the breakdown by rarity is this: mythic rares are going to have 10 total available of these orbital color matches, right? And basically the orbital color matches, as you can see, are leaning much more into the color of the orbital. You can see the purple here. So they're going to be 10 of any given mythic, numbered, 1 of 10, 2 of 10, that sort of thing. 25 of any epic, 50 of any given rare, 75 of any given uncommon, 99 of any given common, and then also 99 of any given token, of which there are 36 different tokens in this set, which is pretty interesting. There's also going to be numbered out of 10 exclusive mythics in orbital pre-con decks, and numbered out of 99 early backer box legendary wonders, which is also pretty crazy. So as you can see, you start to paint a picture here of just how really nuts they're going with the collectability and all of the different alternate art prints, and it's really exciting to see this stuff coming with the game. But next up we have formless foils, which is a new, more interesting way of doing foiling, and these cards are much more rare than normal foils. There are going to be 407 cards to get the formless foil treatment, so the entire existence set, and it includes 6 secret mythics only available in Kickstarter orbital pre-con decks and promos, which is absolutely insane. They're creating a pack rip environment with an incredible amount of anticipation, right? As you're cracking these packs open, the potential for all of these different kinds of alternate arts and alternate foil treatments are prevalent throughout the entire process, and it's honestly going to make the pack ripping experience probably the most exciting out of any game I've seen, which, I don't know, we'll have to wait and see if that's actually the case, but that's the impression I'm getting, and I think it's really exciting. But moving on, we also have classic foil and paper, which are designed for deck building. So these are your foundational versions of the cards, just the normal paper print version, and then also the normal foil of those normal paper print versions. And these are going to be cards that you can continue to get in play boosters and in additional print runs that happen over the course of the next couple years. After that window closes, there will be no reprints or functional reprints. That is the Wonders way to go back to the reprint policies. So there may be cards that fill a similar role or fill a similar hole in the card pool down the line if they feel like there's a need for that. But there will never actually be an actual reprint or an actual one-to-one functional reprint, which is super interesting, and that helps you make sure that you are keeping the integrity of your collection intact and the value of your collection intact. You never have to worry about money wasted. You never have to worry about money dropping in a significant way because of some crazy reprint that you didn't see coming. Let's talk about gameplay. And again, Brian Tinsman is head of game design. So we have lightning in a bottle with the gameplay. Playtesting and card tuning is done, and I can back that because I've been playing with a lot of the newer cards. I played with a lot of the older cards too, and I'm kind of seeing the balancing happen in real time. And there were some problems, they were ironed out, and the game has only gotten better over time, and it's super exciting to see that the card tuning is completely done now. I actually have seen the entire final set of 407 cards. I have access to all 407 of them, and the set is looking kind of insane. There have been thousands of games played. I'm some of those. Finishes that come down to the wire, which is what you want in the game. You want that breakneck, just who's gonna win? I don't know. You know, just really pulling it out in the end like that. That's the kind of gameplay that made me fall in love with CCGs to begin with, and I'm excited to see that it seems like that's what's happening here. And shipped over 50 games, and this is absolutely the one I'm most proud of. So out of every game that Brian has made, all 50 plus games, this is the one he is the most proud of and the most excited about getting out there to all of you guys. And after playing it a bunch, I can attest, yes, this game is the real deal, and I am incredibly excited to hit the ground running as soon as this launches and start playing it. Also, Wonders is doing things that no one else is doing. Expanding the game board is a key innovation, and again, if you don't know what I'm talking about, check out my review video because I go in detail with that. It's easy to demo and learn, made for store events, amazing design space for future expansions, it's extremely fun to design and play new card sets, a foundation that will play out many years ahead. There's definitely a ton of crazy design space within this game, untapped design potential. Even I've had crazy ideas in my head for mechanics and cards after playing the game, so I'm really excited about that. The sustainable no reprint system is built and the DBS engine is running. The DBS scores range from 1 to 74, with Rootling Terror being at the top, but there is no cap, so future cards could be worth more. And if you guys don't know what the DBS system is, this is their system for handling how competitive your deck is and how competitive certain cards are. It's their way of getting around having to ban cards, and it's sort of the way in which they're solving a lot of the problems that Magic the Gathering is going through right now, right out of the gate. And I'm not going to go into more detail with that, but like I said at the beginning of this video, I do have another video coming where I'm going to go into a lot more detail with that DBS system and what's happening with Commander and Magic the Gathering and all that stuff. So look forward to that. Also, tuned for standard decks to be 1,000 points or less. So your standard competitive decks should be at a 1,000 point cap, and so everyone's decks know that they're in the same realm of viability, the same realm of competitive fairness with each other when they stick to that 1,000 point total. The first codex. This was a really exciting announcement that they made. So there is a brand new website and app going up which is going to be similar to kind of like Mox Field or AetherHub for those of you that might use those sorts of programs already, where you can track your collection, you can build your decks within this database online, and then it's also linked directly to Tabletop Simulator. For those of you who don't know, the game is available to play for free right now on Tabletop Simulator. You can just go and play it against other opponents online for free using Tabletop Simulator, so you should go do that. But it's really cool that this codex is going to link to Tabletop Simulator, allow you to import your decks directly from this database that you're building them in right into Tabletop Simulator, and then start trying them out in games. It's really, really cool. So the bullet points here: mobile and web app, card database. It's built for players and collectors. It has a deck builder and a DBS. It has TTS integration. That's Tabletop Simulator. An events calendar, event registration, tournament organizer tools, and automated reporting, which is crazy. So this is kind of what it looks like. It's built for competitive players and competitive collectors, which is really interesting. And there's a professional gaming network backing this game now. So thanks to the help of our distribution partners, we now have a network of over 2,000 plus game ambassadors, tournament organizers nationwide. They host full-time in over 700 specific LGSs with pop-ups in essentially every LGS in the country. So they're really taking this seriously and making sure they're covering all their bases. This game's going to be everywhere. Be excited. They cover over 150 gaming shows and conventions per year, and this will help cover our single biggest team weakness, allow us to focus on supporting the network and building amazing products. What they mean by weakness is the team is really great at creating the game, but getting the game out to everybody. Like that's the one real spot where they needed help, and they have nailed that. They've secured those partners that they need, and this is going to be everywhere, which is really exciting. But that brought us to a Q&A section, which I'm not going to get into the weeds on, but there is, if you want to join the Discord, there is actually a recording, an audio recording, podcast sort of thing of this happening live, this meeting. So if you want to listen to the whole thing and listen to all of the Q&A, you're welcome to do that. Join the Discord. I'm going to link that in the description and the comments as well. So check that out. And that brings us to the end. You can see the full set and play now at compete.wondersccg.com. So go check it out. It's super exciting. I'm really excited to dig into this game. And now that we have specific dates and we know exactly when this is coming, I plan on being a part of that launch event for sure. It's just a really exciting time. If you guys are even the slightest bit intrigued in this game, or even if you're just a backer that's believed in it since the very beginning, regardless, thank you for hanging out with me. Thank you for checking out this video, and be excited because Wonders is coming. Thanks so much for checking out my channel. I'd like to give a huge shout out to all of my patrons over at Patreon. Without you guys, this channel would not be possible, so honestly, thank you from the bottom of my heart for all of your contributions. If you haven't yet, like and subscribe. The more likes we get and the quicker we get them, the bigger this channel will grow and the faster it will grow. I'd love nothing more than this channel to become something very special for you guys, but it's entirely up to you how fast that happens. Also, if you'd like more deck text, that's somewhere over there. And if you'd like to see what else the channel's been up to lately, that's somewhere up that way. Also, subscribe, circle below, do all the things.